Netflix is on pace to become the MySpace of streaming services if it continues down its current path. Recently, Netflix introduced their method of cracking down on account sharing. For a long time now, we've heard whispers of them wanting to get people to have their own individual accounts as they think it'll net them more money, and the recent reports would have you to believe that they are correct. In the short span of the new account share blocking initiative, it was reported that Netflix's individual subscriber count rose by a significant amount, which makes sense. You start kicking people off that account they borrow from their cousin and never stop using in favor of making their own, you're bound to get some new subscribers. I, however, think this is incredibly short-sighted on their part, which is not what Netflix should be at this moment in time. See, if we jump back a few years to around the beginning of the COVID pandemic, the Netflix subscriber rates went up because people were forced to be indoors and needing something to pass the time. You had people who wouldn't have had Netflix before using it to pass the time. A lot of indoor activities saw a rise. Live streaming in general got a massive boost during this time. Video game and PC purchases rose a fair amount, and social media usage across most apps were also up. Now you may be thinking, why am I talking about pre-pandemic times? I thought that was a point in history we never wanted to revisit. I had to point this out because once people started going back in the office and being allowed back outside, the numbers for everything across the board dropped back down to its regular numbers, and if not exactly at where they were, it was close enough to it. This is very important to note when asking, is this move by Netflix to crack down on password sharing good for their long-term success? History shows us that it ain't. They may be seeing inflated numbers now. It may look like they're on the right track, but really this is just the initial wave of people who think that they actually want to watch Netflix. Once these people subscribe and continue watching whatever series it was they were in the middle of finishing before Netflix said, get your own account, brokey, they're gonna realize that they don't actually watch Netflix like that, and the convenience of knowing a friend who does keep up with their subscription was really the only reason they watch Netflix at all, and they'll just move on to something else. Something a bit more free. So not only will Netflix's numbers fall back down to its normal numbers, they may see less viewers actually watching things, as they'll lose those eyes that came from shared accounts watching things. This is also bad because there's a lot more competition out there. Netflix used to be the top dog when it came to streaming online content, but now with Hulu, Disney Plus, Prime Video, Tubi, Max, there's too much competition out there and not enough money in people's pockets. So what do you think they'll choose? The streaming service that everyone has said has fallen off and misses with its original content more than it hits, that you can't even share with your friends and family, or one of the other streaming services that may not have all those Netflix originals but has pretty decent libraries of their own, and you're able to share it with family and friends so that you all can watch the same thing and have plenty to talk about. Moral of the story, Netflix, you're flying pretty close to the sun, and we know exactly what happened to Icarus when he did the same thing. You think because you're the grandfather of this streaming game that you can do whatever you want, impose whatever rules, and deliver subpar content, and people would just stick around because of familiarity. As much as people love routine and the things that they're used to, we also love to feel as though there's value in the things that we spend our hard-earned money on. So reconsider this move. Otherwise, in 10 years or so, we're gonna look at you guys the same way we look back at Blockbuster.